Hello guys, welcome to my channel Lucid Fanfic, and if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest videos. So be sure to stick around until the end, and let's get started. One for all, 20%. Izuku Midoriya called out as green electricity flew around him. Izuku was currently fighting off the League of Villains. They had launched an attack on UA during their joint training with Class 1A and Class 1B. The students were forced into combat. The leader of the League of Villains, Shigaraki Tamura, and Kurogiri attacked Izuku. Izuku knew they had some form of plan, so he prepared himself. "I will destroy everything," Shigaraki stated before crumbling everything around him. Izuku began to stumble on the ground he was on. "Kurogiri, now," Shigaraki ordered. A portal appeared right under Izuku, and he immediately fell in. Izuku fell for a very long time before the portal finally sent him out. As soon as he fell out, he saw clouds right next to him. Izuku quickly realized something. He was very high up, and he was starting to fall. Izuku let out a cry as he began to fall. He activated One for All throughout his body to prepare for the unavoidable landing. He landed with a loud thud and lost consciousness. Couple hours later, Izuku woke up and noticed he was in a bed. He realized someone must have brought him here. His clothes had been taken off, and he was covered in bandages. He looked around and saw his hero costume laying to the side. He got up and quickly put it on. Someone must have fixed his costume, as the fall would have torn apart his costume. Then Izuku heard some voices outside the room. He decided to leave and thank whoever had healed him. He opened the door, and his eyes quickly widened. In the distance sat a giant skull of something with 3 eyes. Izuku knew of no animal with a head that large. "One day, I'll become the Wizard King and make you happy. So please marry me," Izuku heard a loud voice yell out. Izuku turned and looked at the boy who had yelled. The boy looked to be the same age as him and had short ash-blonde hair. He was rather short as well, but his body was very well built. The boy was talking to a young nun who looked to be in her 20s. She had black hair and a rather slender build. "I'm sorry, Asta. I'm a nun, so the nun says." The boy named Asta falls to the ground, but rapidly standing up. "I'm not done yet." Asta yells out. I'm sorry, but the nun says." "I'm not giving up yet." Asta yells out. I'm really sorry," the nun says. "Not yet. Not done yet." Asta yells out. Izuku could only sweat drop at this rather comedic scene. He noticed the nun suddenly grabbed out a book. Izuku saw her flip through a couple of pages. "Stop pestering me," the nun says as a giant water fist crushes into Asta. "Water creation magic. Holy fist of love." The nun looks like she regretted hitting Asta. "I'm sorry, Asta. I used my grimoire's magic without thinking." She apologized. Izuku looked at the scene in total confusion. A grimoire? Magic? Wizard King? It was in thought at the back of his head, but considering the circumstances, Izuku didn't think he was in his own world. Asta suddenly rose up from the ground. The nun let out a cute scream. "Not yet," Asta yells out. Izuku decided to let his presence be known. Excuse." Izuku was interrupted by some form of wind magic throwing Asta into the air. "Asta, are you causing trouble for the sister again?" a young girl asked. "Shut up, brats." Asta then turned towards a tall black-haired boy who stood between the two kids. "And you, why are you getting in the way?" Asta yells at the black-haired boy named Yuno. "Why?" Yuno asks as he himself is surprised to hear Asta ask that. "You're noisy, short, restless, and immature. Basically, you have no qualities that would appeal to women," Yuno states in a bland tone. "Hey, how could you say that to someone you grew up with for the last 15 years, you cold and handsome idiot?" Asta yelled out. "I'll help you, sister," Yuno said as he helped the nun wash clothes with magic. "Thank you, Yuno," the nun said. "Stop ignoring me," Asta called out. Excuse me," Izuku yelled out. The nun, Asta, and Yuno all turned towards Izuku. "Hi, I wanted to thank you guys for healing me," Izuku said as he scratched the back of his head. "Do you guys know where I am?" Izuku asked rather nervously. Yuno looked at Izuku in confusion. "Who are you?" Yuno asked. The nun ran over to Yuno and whispered into his ear. "He's the boy Asta found. His bones were broken, so I healed him," the nun whispered before turning to Izuku. "Hi, you are in Hage Village," the nun said to Izuku. Izuku looked at the three in confusion. Hage. He hadn't heard of that name. "Hage, what country am I in?" Izuku asked. Asta looked at Izuku in disbelief. You don't know which country you're in. You're in the Clover Kingdom. Asta said. Izuku's eyes widened. He hadn't heard Hage or the Clover Kingdom, which means he was most likely in a different world. Asta walked up to Izuku. Man, you really don't know where you are? Asta asked in disbelief. Why yeah, I think I lost my memory, Izuku lied. The nun came up to Izuku. Do you know your name? The nun asked. Yeah, my name is Izuku Midoriya, but you can call me Deku. Izuku stated. Yuno nodded at him. Asta suddenly turned towards Yuno. Yuno, fight me. Asta yelled out. No. Yuno blandly answered. Why not? Asta asked rather loudly. Izuku's ears starting to hurt. We have the Magic Knight's entrance exam in the next 2 months. You idiot, Yuno shouted at Asta. The Magic Knight's entrance exam? Izuku asked. Yeah. The Magic Knights are skilled magic users who protect the Clover Kingdom. Asta answered. Yeah, if only you had magic, Asta. Yuno said with a slight smirk. A tick appeared on Asta's head. So what, I don't have magic? I'm still gonna pass the test and become the Wizard King. Asta yelled out. You don't have magic? Izuku asked in surprise. Yeah, but I do have a grimoire. Asta stated. You don't have magic, but you still want to be Magic Knight. That's some serious cool dedication. Izuku said with a slight smile. Asta smiled at Izuku's words. Magic Knights. Izuku compared them to heroes. They seemed to do almost the same thing after all. Izuku wasn't really sure what to do in this world, so it would be a good start for him. Let me take the exam as well. Izuku said to Asta and Yuno. Both Asta and Yuno looked at Izuku in shock. Do you even have magic? Yuno asked. I don't think so, but I do have a way to fight. Izuku said. But why do you want to be a Magic Knight? Asta asked. Izuku looked at Asta before saying what first popped up into his head. It's been my dream ever since I was little to save people, to help people. The Magic Knights seem just like those kind of people who help others. Izuku stated. That's your dream. That's so cool. Asta then turned to Yuno. Come on, Yuno. Let's have him come too. Asta said. Yuno sighed. I guess we can take him with us. Yuno said. But know this, Deku. I will be the one who becomes Wizard King. Yuno states. Asta immediately turned to Yuno. No, I'll be the one who'll be the Wizard King. Asta yelled out. Izuku let out a small sigh as Asta and Yuno began to banter. They were a lively bunch and were quite energetic, but they were good people, though they did make his ears hurt. The next 2 months Izuku, Asta, and Yuno trained, and the three create a bond with each other, especially Izuku and Asta. They create an amazing bond with each other and train together. Then 2 months passed by, and then the trio left Hage Village waving bye to everyone. Izuku, Asta, and Yuno eventually arrived at the Magic Knight's exam venue. A young man sighed. Phew, I'm getting nervous. The man said as a bird landed on his head. A horde of blackbirds began pecking at a different man. Ow wow. What the heck is going on with these birds? Random person once said. They're the famous anti-birds of the exam venue. The less magic power you have, the more they peck at you. Random person 2 said. Hey, look at him. Random person 3 said. Yuno stood by himself while no birds dared to approach him. Not a single bird is going near him. A man said in amazement. Oh wait, it's him. A man said in realization. The one from the Boonies who was chosen by the 4-leaf Clover grimoire. Random person 1 said. Wow. A young girl blushed at Yuno. Yuno stood still with his ever-present stoic face. Ha ha ha. A guy with spiky grayish hair laughed. One of us is going to become the Wizard King. Our legend starts here, Yuno. A loud voice roared out from behind Yuno. What? Random person 4 said. Become Wizard King? Random person 2 said. I'll show you the results of my 6 months of trial. Asta was interrupted as several birds began pecking him and surrounding him. Asta screamed out. What's up with these freaking birds? Asta yelled out as he attempted to run away, but the birds chased after him. Izuku sat on the ground behind Asta, also surrounded by birds. One bird in particular had made a nest in his green hair. He had a notebook out and was writing at incredible speed. Then he began to mumble. The birds can sense magic power, which means they are some of fantasy creatures who could mean they use magic themselves as a normal, Izuku mumbles. Everyone in the venue stared at Asta and Izuku and began to laugh. As expected from people from the Boonies, Asta continued running before bumping into someone. The birds instantly ran away from Asta. Asta sheepishly apologized. Oh, sorry for bumping into you, Asta said. The suddenly turned around. You want to die, Runt? The man who had devilish look on his face. Asta's face immediately lost all color. What the heck? Asta thought to himself. Who is this guy? He has crazy eyes. The eyes of a murderer. His neck is thick. There's no way he's a mage. Asta could only tremble before the presence. He's got a hell of a presence. Asta thought to himself. Is he really the same age as the rest of us? Izuku heard some commotion and turned to see Asta talking to a massive black-haired man. Just be friendly, Asta told himself. Asta started waving his hand. Whoa, you look really old for a kid. You must have gone through such hardship. Asta said. The man then suddenly grabbed Asta's head. Looks like you're ready to die? The man said. Gah, he's just as he seems. Asta cried out. Izuku stood up to help Asta before someone ran towards the man. Ah, there you are. Mr. Yami, what are you doing down here? Sheesh. A guy with blonde hair said. The man named Yami looked towards the blonde individual. I'm about to wring his neck. Yami stated. Please don't. Izuku called out to him. Yami looked at the green-haired boy. Who are you, Pipsqueak? Yami said. Mr. Yami, a Magic Knight's leader shouldn't be killing the examinees. The blonde man said. Besides, why are you here down with them? I went to take to the toilet and got lost. Yami says. Hey, isn't that a man said, pointing at the blonde man. Final Rillicase? A rare spatial magic user. Famous for hitting on women so much that it's a hindrance on his duties. The man said. The man looked at Yami. Then he must be the Lord of Destruction, Yami Sukihiro, the captain of the Black Bulls. The man says. The Black Bulls, the cost of damage they cause exceeds their military exploits. That group is full of scoundrels. I hear there's not a decent one among them that's the one Magic Knight squad. I wouldn't want to be in. The man says. Izuku noticed how much everyone here seemed to gossip. He would be soon to find out. Magic users love to gossip. Thanks for waiting, invited examinees. Several individuals appeared above the venue. Whoa! Everyone shouted. All of the captains of the Magic Knights together. Wow! Random person once said. That's the captain of the Silver Eagles and the Crimson Lion Kings. Random person 2 said. Izuku looked towards them. The captain of the Crimson Lion Kings looked strong. All of the captains looked strong. A man stared at the captains in amazement. Each captain is as strong as 100 mages, and one of them becomes the Wizard King. One of the captains suddenly spoke up. I'm going to be in charge of exams this time. A man with a mask said. Everyone stared at the captain in amazement. It's the captain of strongest Magic Knights squad, the Golden Dawn William Vengeance. Random person 4 said. He's the top candidate to be Wizard King. Random person 3 said. William suddenly grabbed out his grimoire. Magic tree descend. A huge tree suddenly appeared in the middle of the venue. Its branches stretched out to all the examines, giving everyone a magic broom. William then smirked at everyone. We shall now begin the Magic Knight's entrance exam. William says. We are going to have you go through multiple tests. The 9 captains will be judging your progress. We shall then select the candidates we want in our squads. William said. Those who are not chosen by any captains are judged to lack the talents needed to join the Magic Knights. William says. Izuku stared at his hand. This is what I need to do. I need to be chosen. Izuku thought to himself. The first test is to fly using those broomsticks. William said. Izuku held the broomstick and was lost in thought. I have no grimoire, which means I basically have no magic. Izuku thought to himself as the bird on his head began to yawn. Any mage who can control their magic powers can do this instinctively. William stated. A few of the examinees were barely able to fly. This year Yuno was able to fly on the broom while standing up. We have some good candidates. One of the captains said. Meanwhile, Asta couldn't get off the ground a single inch. What going on? A captain asked William. Even with very little magic power, one should be able to float a little. What the heck, man? Random person 2 says. He's totally not making the cut. Random person 4 says. Why is he even here? Random person 1 said. Meanwhile, Izuku stood not even attempting to get on the broom. What's with that guy? Is he not even gonna attempt to do it? The captains thought to themselves. Izuku noticed a shady-looking guy talking to Asta. He knew Asta could probably take care of himself, but he was still a little worried. The next test started Asta failing at all of them, Izuku not even attempting them, and Yuno breaking records. Those 3 had the most eyes on them. Next is the final test. William, you will engage in actual combat. You will pair up with someone and fight each other. You may use your grimoire. I'm sure you've mastered 1 or 2 attacks right. William said with a smirk on his face. Izuku looked around. Who should I pair up with? The green-haired boy thought. Hey peasant, pair up with me. A man with blonde hair stated. Izuku took notice of the grimoire in his hand. It had a decent amount of pages. Sure, Izuku said. Meanwhile, Asta was fighting against a man named Sek. Now begin, William declared. I'm not going to hold back. Now come and get me, Asta, har har. Sek yelled out to him. Bronze creation magic. Sek magnum cannonball. A barrier surrounded Sek. Sek smirked at Asta. Don't hold back. I'm ready for ya, har. Sek said to Asta. Got it. Here I go. Asta stepped towards Sek. In an instant he was right by Sek. His black grimoire appeared above his head. He grabbed his sword from it. He's fast, William thought to himself. Is he using movement magic? No, Yami said. It's just that his physical ability is just that good. Asta swung down his sword, instantly crushing Sek's barrier and knocking Sek into the ground. Silence enveloped the venue. What the hell? Random person once said. I'm not here to join the Magic Knights and have a blast without putting in any effort. Asta stated. I'm here to become the Wizard King. Asta declared. Izuku smiled. Asta really was really cool. Izuku thought. It was soon Izuku's turn. His enemy was an arrogant, flamboyant type magic user. Izuku had no idea how strong this guy was, so he better be careful. Begin, William yelled out. Izuku immediately activated full cowl at 15%. Green electricity surrounded his body as the power of One for All enhanced his body. Plants erupted from the arrogant man's grimoire at a high speed. But Izuku was faster. Izuku ran past all the plants and was immediately in front of his opponent. Izuku swung his leg with incredible force at 15%. St. Louis smash. Izuku called out as he smashed his leg into his opponent. The crowd gasped as the man was launched out of the venue from the incredible force. Silence enveloped the venue. What was that? William asked in confusion. It was magic, but at the same time it wasn't. Izuku wins, William announced. Yami looked at Izuku. He didn't try during all of his other tests, but he was able to one-shot a decent magic user. Not only that, he used a power that was magic but wasn't at the same time. Izuku and Asta began to happy dance in a circle. We did it, they said together. A black bird landed on Izuku's head. What are you, Izuku? Yami questioned. St. Louis smash. Izuku smashed his leg into his opponent, knocking him out instantly. Izuku gave a small smile as William announced him as the winner. He made sure to hold back a bit. What is up with those two? Random person once said. Are those two seriously from the Bunas? Random person 2 says. Next it was Yuno's turn. Begin, William said. Yuno stepped forward with stoic expression. His opponent looked like a cocky noble. I'm going to show you the difference between a Buni like you and me. Wind magic, towering tornado. Yuno sent a gust of wind at his opponent, instantly beating him. Silence covered the venue. He won in a few seconds? Random person 3 said. Izuku looked at Yuno in amazement. Whoa, I knew Yuno was strong, but to think his magic capabilities were that strong. Izuku muttered to himself. William gave a slight smile at Yuno. And that ends the examination. William said. Now each examine will come forward when their number is called. The squad captains will raise their hands if they wish to have you join their team. William stated. And like mentioned before, if no hands are raised, the examinee will not be able to join the Magic Knights. William stated again. Examine number 1, please step forward. Number 32, the Purple Orcus. Number 78, the Crimson Lion Kings. Number 116, no offers. Next, Yuno then stepped forward. Number 164. All of the captains' hands went up. All of the captains raised their hands? Someone asked in bewilderment. Asta's mouth dropped to the floor. Izuku's respect for Yuno went up even more. Please allow me to join the Golden Dawn, Yuno said as he stared at William. William smirked at Yuno. Yami let out some smoke from his cigarette. Wow, they took a good one, Yami said with a slight sigh. Oh right, next up is him. Asta stepped forward. No hands were raised. Asta looked down in disappointment. I'm not surprised. Yami suddenly spoke up. No matter how high your combat abilities are, if your powers are suspicious, no one will want you. After all, the most important thing about a magic knight is his or her magical powers. Yami said. Izuku looked annoyed. None of the captains wanted Asta, even with his impressive combat abilities. It seemed even in this world full of magic, inequality was still a major thing. No one wants you because you have no magic, Yami stated. This is the harsh reality, Yami stated. Asta looked down. Even so, even without any magic, I'm not going to give up. Asta yelled out as loud as he could. Even if I fail today, no matter how times it takes, I will become the Wizard King, Asta stated. Yami gave a slight smirk. Wahaha. Yami started laughing. You are definitely interesting. Join the Black Bulls. Yami then turned towards Izuku. You as well, broccoli boy. Join the Black Bulls. His face then darkened. By the way, you don't have the right to refuse, he said with a devilish smile. Huh? Izuku asked in confusion. He really was just put in a Magic Knight squad by force. Though if he had to guess, the other captains wouldn't have raised their hands for him. I'll give you two such a horrible time in the Black Bulls that you'll be ripped in pieces. Prepare for it, Yami said with dark smile. Izuku and Asta nodded at him. Yeah. Soon after the exam ended. Whoa, it's pretty crazy that we got on the same squad, Izuku, Asta said before suddenly running away. Now that it's over, I can finally let it loose, Asta yelled out as he ran into the bathrooms. Izuku went over to Yami and Finral. He noticed out of the corner of his eye Yuno leaving the venue. For some reason, all of the blackbirds had flew away except one who had decided to rest in Izuku's hair. For whatever reason, it decided Izuku's curly hair was its new bed. Izuku hoped it didn't view his hair as a bathroom as well. Yami turned to Izuku. You've got some nerve making me wait, Yami said before noticing Asta running towards them. You too. How much of a CRP did you take? Yami asked. It was seriously epic. It was about this big, and it. Yami then grabbed Asta's head. Who asked you to describe your things, you idiot? Yami says. Yami then grabbed Izuku's head. Finral, let's go, Yami said. Yes, sir. The blonde Magic Knight answered. Spatial magic, fallen angel gate. A portal like mist appeared in front of him. Hey, what is the... Izuku wasn't able to finish his question as Yami threw him and Asta through the portal like mist. They fell onto ground that felt like dirt. They looked in front of them and noticed a huge building. So this is the Black Bulls, Izuku said to himself. Boom. The door to the building suddenly blew up. Izuku and Asta mouths both dropped to the ground. Okay, now I'm pissed. You ready to get your butt kicked? A man with shades asked. I'm not ready for that, but bring it on, a blonde boy said with an innocent smile. Izuku and Asta then noticed a woman in only her undergarments. Izuku gave a small blush. Ugh, I drank too much. Major headache, she said while scratching her head. Welcome, Yami said from behind Izuku and Asta with a big smile. To the absolute worst Magic Knight squad, the Black Bulls, Yami said with a smile. Izuku could only stare in disbelief at the scene in front of him. A blonde man had a nosebleed. You're cute as ever, my little sister. Izuku got a bad feeling about him. A young black-haired girl was munching on food. The man with the shades was using a bat to hit a ball made of magic. This entire scene was intense. Though starting today, I'm a Black Bull too, Izuku thought to himself. I need to introduce myself. Izuku thought. Hi, my name is Izuku, and I'm from Hage Village. It's great to meet all of you, Izuku said with a bow, only for all of the Black Bulls to completely ignore him. An explosion happened right by Yami. That's for my pudding. Stop. My head's killing me. Shut up, you boozing hussy. What was that? You virgin delinquent. I'm not a virgin. In the name of my little sister, who I worship, I will finish you all. Would you people quit breaking stuff? Yami yelled out as he broke a wall behind him. Way to set an example, Izuku thought to himself. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Mr. Yami, sir, welcome back. Did anybody get in your face? I'll smash them. Captain, fight me today? Leave these little brats alone and come grab a drink with me. Captain, have a bite off this. I'm sorry. I can't take it anymore. Can I go see my sister? I see. You guys like me that much, Yami said with an innocent smile. But you're annoying. Shut up, Yami said with his usual dark expression. Yami then pointed to Izuku and Asta. These shrimps are the other two new members. Don't haze them so much that they die, Yami stated. Other? Izuku questioned to himself. Asta stepped forward. I'm Asta from Hage Village. Nice to meet ya, Asta yelled out. Izuku then stepped forward. I'm Izuku, or you can call me Deku, also I'm from Hage Village, Izuku said while bowing. Two Bunas? Wow, that's something. We've got other members both there on missions right now. Try to get along with them, Yami said. Izuku nodded. Right, we'll get along with them, Izuku exclaimed. We'll break the records with how along we get with them, Asta yelled out. Hey, you're from the Bunas, right? The woman who was scantily clad asked Izuku. She then bent over to make her assets right in front of Deku's face. You're from the Bunas, and you made it into the Magic Knights. You must have worked hard, kid. How about I reward you with a special treat? Izuku's face went entirely red. Izuku couldn't make complete sentences. The woman's face suddenly turned green. Izuku moved to the left as the woman puked all over the ground. Izuku could only grab his head in disbelief. This place was crazy, though it had this atmosphere that made him want to stay. Becoming a magic knight was his first step to returning home. This world he had come to was different, yet similar to his world. Somehow Kirojiri was able to teleport him to another world. How was he able to do that? His quirk only allowed him to create portals to specific location. Did he know the coordinates of this other world? Would everyone be okay with him gone? Would a world without a user of one for all be safe? Those feelings had been constantly eating away at Izuku since he had gotten here. He hadn't thought about it too much, but now that he's able to think to himself, he realized how lost he really was. Was there even a way for him to return him? And even if there was, how would he figure out how? So many unknown variables. For the meantime, Izuku would have to be a hero in this world without any. Where that would take him, Izuku had no idea. Hey. Izuku heard someone call out to Asta. It was the man wearing shades. His hair was striped with the middle being black, while the rest was yellow. A wussy little runt from the back end of nowhere. I don't know how you sucked up to Mr. Yami. But if you want to wear our robe, you gotta earn some respect from me. Mr. Yami's top one underling, man among men, Magnus Swing. The now named Magnus stated. Izuku noticed the black robe around Magnus' neck. So that was a magic knight's robe. It did look pretty cool. This one even had the face of a bull on it. Gimme please. Asta pleaded to Magna. Magna smirked at Asta. I see, I get it. You want it that badly, huh? A dark smile appeared on Magna's face. You joined the Black Bulls, so come get baptized. Magna then turned towards Deku. You too, Broccoli Head. The Black Bulls all went outside. Izuku looked around nervously. He had no idea what Magna was planning. Magna and Asta stood away from everyone else. I'm about to launch attack magic at you. Block it or avoid it, any way you want. Magna said as he dangled a spare robe in front of Asta. Do that, and you're an official Black Bull. Magna stated with a smirk. And I'll give you this robe. A young girl yawned. He's making baptizing ceremonies again. The energetic blonde boy gave an innocent smile. Hey, it's fine. This is fun. Here I come. Ready your grimoire, you snot-nosed brat. A grimoire appeared before Magna. Asta grabbed his large black sword from his grimoire. Fire suddenly appeared in Magna's hand. It formed into a small ball. Flame magic. Exploding fireball. Magna threw the ball of fire. Die? Magna screamed out. Die? Deku asked himself. I have heard that line before. The fireball barreled towards Asta like a high-speed baseball. Asta then swung his sword like a baseball bat at the fireball and sent the fireball straight back at Magna. Boom. It was a direct hit. Izuku's eyes widened. His sword seemed to be able to cut through magic, and the flat side of his sword can repel it. He was an anti-magic magic knight. You little runt, Magna suddenly said as his body was covered in smoke. I was this close to getting offed by my own magic. You Asta looked at him in shock. A bright smile suddenly appeared on his face. You completely rocked. Huh? Asta asked. Magna gave him a slap on the back. You didn't just block it, you sent it right back. I like you short STA. It's Asta. Izuku couldn't help but smile at him. In the small time he had known Asta, he had noticed it wasn't often Asta got praised. It made him happy to see Asta getting praised. Here. Magna then handed Asta the Black Bull's robe. This is yours. Hey, now it's my turn. The energetic blonde boy said with an innocent smile. Magna turned towards him. Oh, right, Luck, you want to test the other guy, right? Magna said to the blonde boy now named Luck. Yeah. Luck turned and gave Izuku an innocent smile. Let's fight to the death. Izuku's face immediately paled. Fight to the death? Izuku asked in shock. Magna sighed. No, not to the death. Luck just wants to see your combat abilities. Magna then turned to Luck. You better hold back, Luck. Luck just waved his hand at Magna. The Black Bulls turned to Izuku. They didn't want to see Izuku's fighting capabilities. They didn't feel any magic from him either. Izuku walked towards Luck. Well, if that is what it takes. Izuku then activated full cowl at 5%. Lighting surrounded Luck as he sticked his tongue out. He suddenly disappeared. Izuku ducked to dodge a strike from behind. He instantly twisted his body and slammed his right fist at Luck's face. Luck was able to dodge it, however. He's faster than me at 5%, Izuku thought to himself. I gotta go up a bit more then. Green electricity surrounded his body more intensely. One for all, 10%. Whoa, you can use lighting too? Luck asked in a childlike voice. Lighting surrounded Luck's arm. His right arm turned into a blue claw made of lighting. He disappeared again. However, this time Izuku was able to keep track of him. Izuku jumped into the air. He activated one for all at 20% in one arm and punched the air. The force behind the punch propelled, making him dodge a lighting strike. Thanks to the extra movement, Izuku was right next to Luck. Detroit Smash. Izuku attempted to punch Luck, but Luck suddenly disappeared again, this time at an even higher speed. What? He can go even faster than me at 10%? Izuku thought in disbelief. Lighting surrounded Luck even more intensely. Deku activate one for all at 20%. Stop. Magnus suddenly interrupted. Izuku and Luck both stopped. Oh, come on. We were just getting to the good part. Luck pouted. Izuku let out a sigh of relief. That was intense. Luck was at least as fast as him at 20%, which was crazy to think about. Good job, Broccoli Head, Magnus said as he handed Izuku a Black Bull robe. It's Izuku or Deku. You two are now officially members of the Black Bulls, Magnus said to the both of them with a smile on his face. Izuku and Asta both smiled a proud smile. I'm now one step closer to becoming Wizard King, Asta thought to himself. I'm closer to figuring out a way home, Izuku thought to himself. The bird resting on his head suddenly pecked him on the head. Ow! The Black Bulls started laughing. So those are the other two new members. A silver-haired girl sat on top of the Black Bulls building. What a bunch of insects, she said with a slight scoff. This is the dining hall, Magnus said as he showed Izuku and Asta around the Black Bulls base. Right after Izuku and Asta had been brought into the Black Bulls, Magna had wanted to show them around. The building was surprisingly large. The dining hall could fit a large amount of people. The bathroom was comfortably big, though it wasn't very private. They even had a small dungeon room where Yami kept monsters, which confirmed Izuku's suspicions of fantasy, like monsters in this world. And then Magna suddenly stopped. Izuku and Asta stopped as well. Right in front of them was silver-haired girl. She was taller than Asta and about the same height as Izuku. So this is where you were. Magna spoke up. Hey, you two. Meet the other new member, Magna said as he pointed at the silver-haired girl. Izuku took a good look at her. Her silver hair gave Izuku fantasy vibes. She looked to be around 16 years old, around his own age. She stared at Izuku and Asta with her purple eyes. Her expression seemed stoic, or even like she was looking down on them, though that wasn't something Izuku wasn't used to. However, there was something about her that told Izuku that she was a good person. Izuku stepped forward and took a deep breath. It would be better to be confident in this situation. Izuku stepped towards her. Hi, my name is Izuku, or you can call me Deku. I came from Hage Village. I look forward to being teammates with you, Izuku said as he stretched his hand towards her. A handshake was common for those who view each other as equals. He didn't want her to think he was looking down on her after all. She suddenly slapped his hand away. Don't address me so casually, she said as she looked down on Izuku. Little insect with your paltry magic, I am Noel Silva, a member of this country's royal family. Izuku and Asta's jaw dropped to the ground. Royalty? They thought in shock. Asta got out of his shocked state. Who's a little insect? Asta screamed out at Noel. Don't make fun of Izuku. As knights we are on the same level. Royalty has got nothing to do with it, Asta yelled out. Izuku nodded. He agreed with Asta. Everyone here was a knight. Royalty had nothing to do with it. That's right, Asta. You tell her, Izuku and Magna said at the same time. Noel scoffed at them. It has everything to do with it, Noel said before sighing. I see that it will take more than words to make you foolish peasants understand. A blue aura wrapped itself around Noel's fingers. I'll have to let the differences in our magic powers convince you, she said as she pointed her magic at Asta, only for it to curve and hit Izuku. It drenched him in cold water. Izuku blinked a couple of times. Man, what was that for? Izuku asked in confusion. He could have swore she was aiming for Asta, and well, not him. It's your fault for just standing there. Who gave you permission to be there? She said, trying to taunt Izuku. Izuku let out a small sigh, before activating one for all at 10% throughout his body. He then ran away from them, running down a hallway. The other three blinked in confusion. They suddenly heard Izuku running back towards them, with his clothes all dry. Magna turned towards Noel. What the hell was that for? Magna said. I'm royalty, I don't need to answer your question, Noel stated. I don't care if you're royalty or the little sister of the captain of the Silver Eagles. Magna yelled out at her. Izuku looked at them in confusion. Silver Eagles. That was one of the Magic Knight squads. Izuku questioned to himself. Mr. Yam's the only guy who would take on a shrew like you. Magna yelled out. Show some gratitude, moron. That was a bit harsh, Izuku thought to himself. She scoffed before walking away. I wouldn't be in this group if you paid me, Noelle said as she walked away. Izuku looked at her back as she walked away. Something was troubling her, that much Izuku knew for sure. To Izuku, it seemed like she was putting on a persona, though who knew if Izuku was right about that. Magna then turned towards Izuku and Asta. He coughed into his hand. Anyways, I'll show y'all to your rooms, Magna said as he led them further down the hallway. Well, my own room, Asta said as tears fell down his face. Magna then led Izuku to his own room. And hey, race your room, Magna said as he opened the door. It was a small room, big enough for one person, which is all Izuku needed. Magna waved at Izuku. Well, I gotta go make sure Luck isn't doing anything. Don't stay up too late, broccoli head, Magna said as he shut the door and ran down the hallway. Izuku couldn't sleep. It had been a long day, and he still had plenty to think about. He had taken Magic Knight exams, passed it, and had meet the Black Bulls all in one day. To say the least, it was very eventful. Sitting in this small home, however, made Izuku realize he was homesick. He missed being able to talk to all his friends in his class, and now he might never see them again. Izuku suddenly sat up. No, I can't think like that, I just gotta find a way, Izuku said to himself. He looked outside and noticed it was starting to get dark. I still got time for some extra training, Izuku thought to himself. He opened his window and jumped out. As soon as he landed, he heard some loud noises. Izuku decided to go investigate. He turned a corner and saw Noelle. She was surrounded by potholes that they most likely had created, but straight in front of her was a target. It was as though she was attempting to hit it, but she couldn't hit it. Why, Izuku heard Noelle say in despair. Why won't it go where I want it to? Noelle asked in desperation. I couldn't have made a failure like you, Noelle remembered her family's words to her. She can't even control her magic, wretched thing. Look at that thin grimoire, are you sure you're royalty? You're an embarrassment to our family, you're not needed for the Silver Eagles. You good for nothing. Noelle clenched her fists in frustration. I will definitely make them acknowledge me, Noelle thought to herself. She attempted to fire her magic at the target, but missed, and missed, and missed. Why? Noelle said as frustration as she suddenly shot out as much magic as she could. Izuku's eyes widened as water engulfed Noelle and was shooting out huge spirals of water, destroying the ground. Noelle sat in the middle of the hurricane, struggling to breath. Izuku's hero instincts immediately went off. Green electricity surrounded his body as he activated full cowl at 10%. The other Black Bulls noticed what was going on and ran outside. Izuku knew he wasn't strong enough to destroy that water at his current level. In that case, green electricity surrounded two of his fingers at an even higher intensity. I gotta save her, Deca thought to himself as he jumped above the wave hurricane. Delaware smash, Izuku called out as he used one for all at 100% to send a huge wind blast at the water hurricane. Boom. The water hurricane was immediately destroyed, freeing Noelle. She then began falling to the ground. Oh no, I gotta save her. Izuku was in midair. Getting to her in this position would be nearly impossible, but he did have something he could use to save her. Izuku closed his eyes and stretched his hand that had no broken fingers out. Black energy suddenly erupted from Izuku's arm. Black whips. Izuku used black whips to grab Noelle before she could fall, but now Izuku was falling. Oh no. Izuku prepared for the worst, only to see a portal appear right below him. He and Noelle both fell through. Spatial magic, fallen angel gate. Finral made Izuku and Noelle land right on the ground. Izuku let out a deep breath. I'm alive. Izuku then turned to Finral. Thank you for saving me. Izuku then turned towards Noelle. Hey, Izuku called out to her. Noelle twitched in response. They're gonna make fun of me again, Noelle thought to herself in disappointment. Are you okay? Izuku asked in a sincere tone. You've got some awesome magic, water magic, right? Noelle looked at Izuku in surprise and nodded. You could probably make a water dragon or Revan water armor in deceit. Yami then grabbed Izuku's head. Shut up, Yami said in annoyance. If you can train until you master your magic, you'll be unstoppable, Izuku said with a smile. If you'd like, I can help you. I know what it's like to have power you can't control, Izuku offered. Noelle let out a tiny blush. Magna walked over to Noelle. What? You couldn't control your magic. That's it. You should have told us sooner, you royal failure. We're the Black Bulls, a whole group of failures. That little flaw of yours ain't a big deal, idiot. Magna said with a slight smirk. Noelle felt tears at the end of her eyes. Here. Izuku offered his hand to her. She grabbed it, and Izuku helped her up. Noelle let out a small smile. Thank you very much, Noelle said. The next morning after the incident with Noelle, Izuku awoke as he felt sharp pain from his arms. He bolted up and let out a small grunt of pain. Is this pain because I used black whips? Izuku questioned to himself. It made no sense. He made sure to hold back where he grabbed Noelle. So where was this pain coming from? The pain started to get worse. Izuku could barely handle it. Black smoke suddenly erupted from his wrists. What the hell? Izuku questioned as black smoke blasted out of his wrist. Suddenly the pain stopped. Izuku felt something in his hand. He swiped away the black smoke and took a good look at what was touching his hand. On his hand was a book. Izuku blinked in surprise. The book was green and black going across the cover. It was a thick book, yet Izuku could feel power coming from it. Is this a grimoire, but why does it have 6 leaf? Izuku asked himself in shock. He reached forward and touched the grimoire. It glowed before suddenly disappearing. It disappeared? Izuku questioned to himself. Then is it possible for me to call it or make it disappear? But how does that work? Or is it something I just need to think about? Izuku had so many questions and not many answers. However, before he could figure anything out, he heard a knock on his door. Hey, Izuku. Izuku heard Asta call his name out. Food is ready. Come on, let's go eat. We can even race there. Izuku gave a slight sigh. We don't have to race, but I'll be right there. Izuku opened the door and Asta began running down the hallway towards the dining hall. Izuku's sweat dropped at that. He supposed Asta wouldn't take no for an answer. Izuku ran after him. Izuku ran into the dining room and noticed Asta had already started eating. So Asta said to Magna, what do magic knights actually do? Asta questioned. Izuku had a similar question. He wondered if it was like being a hero where they go on patrols and catch criminals. Magna glared at Asta in response. Are you seriously asking that? You little Magna stood and began to shake Asta comedically. We protect the country. Guard stuff, it's the manliest job in the world, you moron. Magna said as he continued to shake Asta. Why do you want to join in the first place, huh? Izuku brought a finger to his chin. So it was like being a hero. The scantily clad girl suddenly spoke up. It's sort of like, protecting the peace? She drunkenly said. She then smiled. I might meet a wonderful gentleman on bodyguard duty. Izuku wasn't able to not be nervous around her. Her name is Vanessa Enoteka. She is a booze-loving witch who was expelled from a distinguished family, at least that's what Finral had told him. Luck suddenly started shaking back and forth. It's a fun job that lets you fight all the enemies you want. Luck said with an innocent smile. If they are criminals, you can beat them up as much as you want and not get in trouble. He was Luck Volta, a boy who smiles innocently as he duels people to the death. Definitely not someone Izuku wanted to make enemies of. It's a wonderful occupation that my little sister respects more than anything, a blonde-hair man said as his nose bleed. I can use the wages to buy her things she likes too. Izuku had learned his name was Go Shadley, and he was someone Izuku could not feel comfortable around. He had heard he is a former prisoner, and well, he can see why. Suddenly, a petite black-haired girl suddenly jumped on the dinner table. You get to eat lots of food too. Her name was Charmy, that was all Deka knew about her, and that she loved food. Suddenly next to Asta was Asta. There were 2 Astas. The fake Asta put his hand on Asta's shoulder. Well, long story short, it's a good job. We'll go on missions together soon. Looking forward to it. Fake Asta said to Asta. The fake Asta's name was Gray, and he was a master of transformation magic. They're weirdos. Izuku, Asta, and Noelle all thought together. And so I'm going to give you guys, Magna said, talking to Izuku, Asta, and Noelle. Your first mission. Izuku smiled in anticipation. Here he could do some real hero work. He wondered what kind of cool mission he would be doing. You're going to the village of Saucy, Magna interrupted. To hunt boar. Izuku, Asta, and Noelle are stared at him with a deadpan look. What a stupid mission. Asta yelled out. What's stupid about it? Magna asked in anger. Shouldn't there be animal helpers we could ask for this? Izuku quietly asked. I can take out a boar with my bare hands. Asta yelled out. Don't you go underestimating boars. Magna yelled back at him. Yami suddenly walked up from behind Magna. The two of us lost a bet the other day. We promised this one old guy a favor for him, whatever he asked. Yami said with an unusual smile. He was looking to get rich quick so he could make his poor village wealthy. That geezer was quite a guy. Yami said while chuckling. Humans are strong when they've got responsibilities. But that means it's not our problem. Asta yelled out while violently shaking his hands in the air. He's right, Noelle said while also shaking her hands but less violently. Yami then gave them a stone-cold stare. Go or die, what's it gonna be? We'll go. Izuku, Asta, and Noelle said at the same time. Remember to go past your limits. Yami said as he let out a small huff of smoke. Plus ultra, Izuku quietly said. What was that? Yami asked in a threatening tone. Nothing, sir. Izuku answered. Asta started jumping up and down. Still, it's our first mission. I'm getting psyched. Asta yelled out. Izuku nodded. It is pretty exciting to start our real first Magic Night mission. Izuku said as he began to put on his hero costume with his black bull rope. Me? Go to a grimy village for some grimy old man. To get rid of a grimy boar? Noelle said with a stoic expression. Say what? Magna turned and stared at Noelle. Got a problem, kid? Noelle huffed. Nobody's complaining. Noelle then looked to the left with a small blush. Since I can't control my magic, I wondered if it was really all right for me to go. Magna then scowled at her. Moron. If you go on lots of missions, the control will take care of itself. Besides, I'm your elder. I'll cover your butt for you. Magna yelled at her. Izuku walked over to her. I have trouble controlling my power as well. Izuku then made a fist. Experience is everything. Noelle gave a slight nod. Well, if you insist, I'll go with you. Mr. Magna, you're the man. Asta yelled out to Magna. Cut it out, dork sta. I'm blushing over here. Magna said in a joking manner. By the way, Finral doesn't know where this village is, so we can't use his spatial magic. To get there, we'll have to use magic brooms. Magna said with a smirk. I can't fly on a broom. Asta said with an stoic expression. Neither can I. Noelle said in the same tone. I am unable to as well. Izuku said. Magna then face-palmed before grabbing Asta and shaking him violently. Are you guys kidding me? That's like the easiest thing ever. Why can't you do it, you idiots? I have no magic. Asta said while puffing his chest out. Why are you so proud of that? Magna said. I can't control my magic, so obviously I couldn't do it. How dumb of you. Noelle said in a snobby tone. Why are you so snobby? Magna says. I can't fly as I have no natural magic as was born quirkless. So it is like I was born magicless like Asta, so I don't have the abilities. Izuku muttered out loud. How can you talk so fast, broccoli head? Magna said. Magna then sighed. Well, guess there's no helping it, Magna said before smirking. I'll have to take you on my sweet ride. A broom with the skull of a bull with shades on suddenly appeared in front of everyone. Her name is Crazy Cyclone. Magna stated. That is so cool. Asta yelled out. It is pretty cool. Izuku said with a slight smile. With the whole outfit, it reminded Izuku of his childhood where he would dress up as All Might. Tacky. Noelle yelled at the broom. What? Magna yelled out at Noelle. Girls just can't see the artistic structural beauty here. Tacky. Noelle said again. Everyone hopped onto the broom. They could barely fit on it. It wasn't meant for 4 people, so everyone had to squeeze together very tight. All right, here we go. Magna said as he began to sweat. Are you sure you're okay? Noelle asked with a deadpan expression. A man never goes back on his word. Magna yelled out as the broom lifted off the ground and carried them into the air. Shortly after, Magna landed right near the village. However, something was off. Magna was heavily sweating. What the hell is this? Magna asked in confusion. The village, it's covered in mist? The village was covered in mist. It was almost impossible to see anything. The mist was so thick that Deka doubted it was just weather. This place sure has lousy weather. Asta said. Don't be stupid. Noelle interrupted. It's magic. Even if we go in there, I doubt we'll be able to reach our destination. Noelle admitted. Magna turned towards Asta. Hey, Asta. Cut this mist with that sword of yours. Magna said. Huh. Asta then comedically waved his hand at Magna. Don't be silly. Swords can't cut mist. Asta said. You are the idiot. Your sword can cut any magic. Magna yelled out. Right. Asta grabbed his black sword from his grimoire. He rapidly slashed at the mist. The mist began to clear. There. The mist's clearing. Izuku said. They took a good look into the village and saw several villagers tied up in the middle of the village. Above them were several icicles. Commence execution. The icicles then rained down on the villagers. Izuku immediately jumped forward. Magna jumped above Izuku. Flame magic, explosive scattershot. Magna's flames was split into several beams that destroyed all of the icicles. Izuku was surprised. Magna was able to get there and protect the villagers faster than him. His respect for Magna just drastically went up. The villagers looked in awe at the Black Bulls. It's the Magic Knights, did they come to save us? The villagers cried. What going on here? Magna asked nervously. Izuku looked at the situation. Was it a hostage situation? Unlikely, as whoever used that magic had the intent to harm the villagers. A little boy began to cry. Grandpa, your prayer was answered. Magna turned and recognized the man the boy was talking to. The man was on the ground, unmoving. Dude. Hey, old man. Hang on. Magna took a look at him and realized he was dead. Magna's face darkened. Izuku clenched his fists. Magna turned around. Was this you? Magna asked in anger at a man sitting on cement. The man held a pocket watch in his hand. He was a tall, lanky, older-looking man with a long scar going across his face. How dare you throw off the schedule? The man asked with a deep voice. In 3 seconds, everyone dies. The man said. A grimoire appeared in front of him. A large ice boulder that was the size of at least 2 large boulders was hurled at Magna. Oh no, I don't have enough magic to Magna thought to himself before seeing Izuku and asked to run towards the ice boulder. Izuku was faster, however. Green electricity surrounded Izuku's body. One for all, 20%. Izuku called out as he caught the boulder head-on. He stopped it in its path. Asta. Izuku called out as Asta ran towards him with his black sword in hand. Izuku moved out of the way as Asta sliced the boulder in half. You're going down. Izuku and Asta said to the ice user. The ice user was still sitting on cement away from Izuku and Asta. Why the heck would you do something so terrible? Asta asked. Izuku stepped forward. He took note of the situation. Along with the ice user, there were multiple people wearing robes that concealed their faces. It wouldn't turn out well if they all attacked. Who the heck are you people? Asta yelled out as he pointed his sword at them. The ice user just sighed in response. One of the concealed wizards stepped forward. We hadn't heard that members of the Magic Knights would be coming. Are they on an unofficial mission of some sort? One of them questioned. And how did they break through the mist barrier and enter the village? The ice user looked at his pocket watch. 5 minutes. The worthless villagers didn't know anything. We'll finish them off quickly. The ice user said before a dark expression appeared on his face. And hunt for what we seek. Asta leaped forward towards the ice user. Don't you ignore me. Asta yelled out. Asta, wait. Izuku called out. One of the concealed wizards held out one of their hands. Mist magic, whirlpool of illusory mist. Mist surrounded. Asta, don't think you can approach Lord Heath so easy. Izuku rammed his fist into the concealed wizard's stomach before he could finish his sentence. The wizard was instantly knocked out. Asta then slashed at the mist around him and cut it in half. The ice user now named Heath narrowed his eyes at Asta. He cut my ice magic earlier, so his sword can negate magic. He thought to himself. In that case, I can't let him get close. Heath then looked at Izuku. I don't know what kind of magic the green-haired brat has, but it's strong enough to knock out someone with magic armor, Heath thought to himself. I asked you why you try to massacre the villagers. Asta yelled out. Izuku looked at Heath. He almost seems to have no empathy in that case. The only thing Izuku needed to do was save everyone and kick these guys' butt. Heath looked at Asta with an stoic expression. This village is in Forsaken Realm, where the commoners dwell. Health stated. Most inhabitants of the Forsaken Realm are an inferior breed. The only magic they can use is petty, everyday magic. They're like animals who are unable to use their tools. Heath said as he narrowed his eyes at Asta. These dumb beasts could rob me of my time. I was simply trying to clear them away beforehand. You have enough magic to join the Magic Knights, don't you? You're simply trying to save them because it is your mission. Don't they look like pathetic animals, even to you? Izuku clenched his fists and activated One for All. He had heard enough. He was going to take this guy down. Those people who you call animals, Izuku said as he took one step forward. Those people are the ones I will protect. Izuku and Asta said as they charged towards Heath. I see, Heath said as his face darkened. So you value this filthy beasts. 3 of the concealed wizards suddenly stretched their hands forward. Mist formed out of their hands. Health then stretched his hand forward as ice shot out of his hand. Ice and mist compound magic, endless ice cage. Hundreds of icicles formed around the villagers. Then can you protect this herd of animals like this? Heath then sent the icicles flying down on them. Asta swung and deflecting some of the ice back at Heath. Black energy erupted from Izuku's wrists as he called black whips. He swung at the icicles with his whips to knock them away. You can't defeat me like that, Heath said as he dissolved the ice that Asta sent back at HM. I can make ice shards forever. The amount of ice increased even more. Go ahead, try to protect them. Izuku grunted in frustration. There was so many ice shards that all he could do was defend. Two of his fingers still hadn't healed from the incident with Noelle. He was stuck here. Magna blew up a bunch of shards that were about to hit some villagers. Asta, Izuku, and I have our hands full defending the villagers, Magna thought to himself as he blew up more ice. Plus I'm running low on magic. Magna then looked towards the concealed wizards. The other guys have 3 magic users at Magic Knight level. He then looked at Heath. And he hasn't even shown his full strength. Magna gave a slight smirk. What a great first mission. This is really bad news. But even so, Magna blew up even more ice shards. Real men don't cut and run. It just so happens I'm a commoner as well. I will protect you guys, Magna yelled out at the villagers. Splash. Noelle attempted to hit Heath with her magic, but missed. Health gave a small smirk at her. I see one of you can't even control her magic. The Black Bulls must really be hunting for members. Weak beasts who can't even protect themselves, Heath sighed. If you abandon them, you'll survive Magic Knights. Noelle's face darkened. I'm a royal, I have the strongest magic, Noelle thought to herself. And yet I'm just holding them back. Noelle, Izuku shouted out to her. With power that is too powerful for you to control, you just need to condense it, lower the voltage. Izuku yelled out as he swung his black whips to destroy even more ice. Condense? How would I even lower the power? Retreat, Lady Noelle, Magna yelled out. There's no point to my even being here, Noelle thought to herself. That's right, I'm a royal, I mustn't die in a village like this. I should run. Suddenly Noelle felt a tug on her arm. A little villager girl no older than 8 had tears in her eyes. Miss Magic Knight, please save us. Noelle looked at the girl before stepping forward. Her grimoire suddenly opened up and words suddenly appeared. As the user grows, new magics carved into the grimoire. That's right, Noelle thought to herself. This little girl is asking for help. I can't possible. Suddenly magic erupted from Noelle. Run away. The magic turned into water, and the water gave shape into a dragon. Water creation magic. Sea Dragon's Lair. The water dragon went into the air and destroyed all of the ice shards. Izuku recognized the water. It was the same as when she lost control, but she has somehow learned how to control that. I am royalty and a black bull, Noelle yelled out. I will protect the people of this country. Magna then smirked. I knew it, see? You can do it when you try. Izuku looked at the water dragon in amazement. She only needed an emotional push to be this strong. Izuku then looked at Noelle. Noelle, you're amazing. What is this magic? Heath asked in shock. Asta suddenly launched himself forward and cut down the 3 concealed wizards. Heath grabbed out his grimoire, but suddenly a black whip grabbed his hand. The black whip pulled him towards Izuku. He tried to create ice magic, but Noelle's water just instantly shattered it all. Detroit, Izuku called as he brought Heath towards him. Green electricity surrounded his right fist as he used one for all at 15%. Smash! Izuku called out as he smashed his fist into Heath's face, knocking him into the ground. Izuku felt pain from his fist. Gah! Izuku let out a gasp of pain. He looked at his right fist, it was frozen. He froze my fist as I hit him? Izuku thought. You may be strong, Heath said from the ground. But your body is still just a normal human. Ice formed around Heath. Ice magic, heavenly fong. An ice pillar stabbed into Izuku, sending him flying. Izuku fell onto the ground with a big thud. Sleep there for eternity. Asta jumped towards Heath. You monster! Asta yelled out only to suddenly stop. His legs were frozen. He quickly slashed at the ice before suddenly an ice pillar sent him flying into the air. That's some tremendously powerful magic, Heath said, talking about Noelle's water dragon. However, he then raised his fist. It looks like I'll be able to make an entrance for one, Heath said as he began to freeze everything. It's been about 25 seconds. You seem to love stealing my time. Magna's face darkened. If he didn't do something, all the villagers would freeze and die. I've almost have no magic left, but I gotta fight. Magna thought to himself. Flame and ice. If we're talking magical attributes, I've got the advantage. But this guy's magic is so strong that it doesn't even matter. Magna thought to himself. Sorry, Mr. Yami, I'm pretty sure can't why. I'm not done yet. Asta shouted from behind Heath. He swung his sword at Heath, only for Heath to stab Asta in the chest with an ice pillar, which sent him flying into the air. Too slow. Heath turned and saw Asta was still standing. I'm not done yet. Asta huffed out. Heath sighed. There's no way you can win this, just give up. I'm not gonna give because I'm gonna become Asta, then lifted his sword in the air. The Wizard King. Asta yelled out. Noel looked at Asta in confusion. Wizard King, what's he talking about? Noel asked. A large smirk appeared on Magna's face. You're a real man, Asta, Magna said with a smirk. He then walked outside of Noel's water dragon. Wizard King? Heath asked. A ridiculous dream, unfortunately. You're about to die. A black whip suddenly went flying into the air towards Heath. Heath easily dodged it. Heath said as he saw Izuku standing up. Izuku was breathing heavily. His chest was bleeding from the ice pillar. I need to help them. Suddenly, the green and black grimoire appeared in front of Izuku. He grabbed it and opened it. This is Izuku said in shock. Magna stepped forward. Eat this. All the magic I've got left. Flame magic. Prison death scattershot. A scattershot of flames was sent towards Heath. So this is your final magic? Heath then sent a horde of ice shards at Magna. You're much too wasteful. Heath then created an ice barrier in front of him in order to block Magna's attack. Asta suddenly appeared behind Heath. It's not a waste, Asta said as he swung at some of the fire rays and sent them at Heath. Boom. It was a direct hit. The ice shards were about to hit Magna before water blew them up. Noel had saved Magna. You'd better thank me, you spiky-haired delinquent. Noel said to Magna. Yes. I controlled my magic. Noel thought to herself. I can still move, Heath suddenly said as he used ice to propel him upwards. Suddenly a multitude of black whips grabbed Heath and brought him to the ground. Black whips, black chain prison. Deku called out with his grimoire in front of him. He had unlocked some form of magic spell with his grimoire. It allowed him to use more black whips than he usually could. Asta suddenly appeared in front of Heath. Wait, Heath said. No way I'm gonna wait. Asta said as brought his sword down and cut into Heath, knocking him out cold. Heath was completely beaten. Asta slashed his sword across Heath's chest. This can't be. Heath thought to himself in despair. I couldn't have been not by a boy like him. I wanted to be more used to the master. Heath then fell to the ground. The villagers started cheering. They did it. One of the villagers said. Fire wrapped around Heath and each of the concealed wizards, constraining them and not allowing them to move. Magna let out a small smirk. Courtesy of my flame binding magic, Magna said with a small smirk. You guys won't be moving for a while. Noel looked at Magna in surprise. You're more clever than you look. Noel complimented. Hey, I'm your superior, Magma said. Suddenly water erupted from one of the concealed wizards. Water magic, torrential transport. Water erupted from his grimoire, pushing him away. He managed to get behind a building and was much too quick for Magna to catch with his low magic. Oh no, Magna yelled out. I let one get away. Argai blew it. What are you doing? Noel asked. Follow through properly. The giant water bubble suddenly fell on top of Noel and Magna. Magna couldn't help but let a laugh out. You've still got a long way to go, Lady Noel, Magna said. Did ya see that? Asta suddenly yelled out. In front of him lay Heath unconscious. I may be a peasant, but I still won. Asta suddenly fell over and fell asleep. Meanwhile, Izuku started walking over to Asta and the others. His grimoire floated above him. Honestly, it was perplexing how he had received a grimoire. The craziest part of the grimoire is what was inside the book. He saw some weird writing different than any other grimoire, and what else he saw was his hero notebook notes. It didn't make any sense on how they had gotten transferred to this world, as well maybe grimoires are all linked and different per person. That would explain Asta's black grimoire. When he took a look into his grimoire, he saw his hero notes on Kimui Wood, and they had notes on a specific move. Yet, when he touched the notes, it was as though his body had learned how to use black whips to a whole new level. Was that what magic did? It wasn't realistic, but Izuku wasn't in a realistic world. He took a look inside his grimoire again. There was only 2 pages, and it was notes on Kimui Woods. and the second one was the weird writing. Under his regular notes, it showed his new move, Black Chain Prison, so as he learned more magic moves his grimoire would get bigger. That would help Izuku see his progression, and it would. Ow! Izuku called out as the same anti-magic bird from the Magic Knight exam pecked his head. Hey Deku! Magna called out to him. Izuku noticed Magna had tied up the enemy wizards with fire. That was a pretty clever way of using fire magic. Izuku walked over to Magna and the others before the anti-magic bird started pecking his head again. Ow! Will you stop that? Izuku yelled out before noticing a stone in its mouth. What's that rock? Izuku asked out loud. If you want that rock, you can have it, one of the villagers said. It was the village chief's protective charm. You're our saviors. Izuku let out a small blush and smiled. The anti-magic bird then landed on Izuku's head and began to make itself comfortable. You're welcome, Izuku said as he bowed. Noelle was staring at Izuku's head with a major blush on her face. Just look at those spiteful little eyes. Noelle thought to herself. How adorable. You can come over here too, Noelle said to the anti-magic bird. The bird blinked owlishly before yawning and falling asleep. Heath slowly blinked his eyes. He noticed he was tied up. Magna turned towards him. Hey, he called out. You awake, scumbag? I'm gonna rest up a bit more, and as soon as my magic is back, I'm taking you all in. Magna stated. You're gonna pay for what you did for the rest of your lives, losers. Magna yelled out. Heath then took notice of the flame ropes around his chest. My magic's been sealed? Heath questioned to himself. The Magic Knights are gonna make you talk, Magna said with a scowl. Who the heck are you? And what the heck do you want from the village? Magna ordered Heath to answer. No, I won't tell you, Heath stated before ice erupted from his chest. Magna eyes widened. He's got a magic item inside him, Magna thought in realization. Ice magic. Ice burial. Icicles erupted from him and surrounded Heath in ice. The ice then broke apart, finishing Heath and the captured concealed wizards. Izuku's eyes widened in shock. He clenched his fists in anger. It was something that, while uncommon, did happen back in his world. But even so, for someone to value life so little. You idiots, why did you take your life for the pocket watch then hit the ground? Underground somewhere. The concealed wizard that got away was on one knee. Heath did what? Anonymous voice asked. I see, the voice continued. And the Black Bulls have the magic stone. Still, the Black Bulls are nothing. We can do whatever we want with them, whenever we choose. The anonymous figure then reached towards a wall with his hand. The resurrection is at hand. The wall was covered in what looked glyphs with stones inside them. You guys, Yami called out with a large smile to the gang as they returned to the Black Bull's base. Had a real rough time out there. Whatever, good job, you idiots. Yami says. Yes, sir. Asta and Magna yelled out. Why does Yami look happy about it being rough? Noelle thought to herself. Izuku gave a slight smile. It was a rough experience, but he had completed his first Magic Knight mission. Vanessa had walked in the room with her Black Bull robe on. The Magic Investigation Department is examining what the criminals left behind, but they haven't gotten any important information. Vanessa stated. That pocket watch he left was valuable. Considering that and how they acted, they might be extremists or dissidents from the noble realm. Well, it doesn't matter. Yami suddenly spoke up. In recognition of your actions, Yami then held up a star. The Wizard King has rewarded us a star. Whoa, for real? Magna said in surprise. A star? What's a star for? Izuku asked in confusion. Vanessa then spoke up. The 9 Magic Knight squads compete to see how many stars they can get. It's an honor thing, and right now Golden Dawn is at top. Vanessa stated. Right now they have 70. On a wall covered in stars, Vanessa used her magic and removed a star. Izuku looked at the wall in confusion. Great. Yami yelled out. That makes for a nice neat -30. Yami yelled out with happiness. Everyone's sweat dropped at him. Huh? Izuku asked in confusion. You know, if we didn't bust up that town on that mission, that puts us exactly 100 stars behind Golden Dawn. Finally, Yami then grabbed out 3 bags and gave them to Izuku, Asta, and Noelle. And here, your wages for the month. Whoa, money, Asta yelled out. Izuku looked inside and noticed quite a few coins inside. He had no idea how the currency here worked, however. It's barely anything, Noelle said as she stared at the bag. Congratulations on your first day. Vanessa congratulated them. This means you'll want to go shopping in the castle town, right? I'm free. I'll take you guys. Izuku looked at her in confusion. Castle town? Whoa! Izuku called out as they walked into the castle town called Kika. Kika is a castle town located in the upper center of the Common Realm. Most people who come here are commoners from the Common Realm. Whoa! Is that the Black Bulls? A person said as they passed by. Izuku gave a slight nervous glance. There's a lot of commotion, Izuku quietly said. The castle town was full of buildings made of stones and did not look modern at all. Izuku assumed everything in this world leaned on the more fantasy look than the modern look. It's fine, Vanessa assured. Just having magic knights around Dieter's criminals. Besides, Vanessa then turned to Noelle. We might attract a fine guy or two, she said as she waved several bottles of booze. Healthy recovery herbs. Consumable magic item once we pick up the major stuff. I'll take you guys somewhere special. Somewhere special? Izuku asked in confusion as Vanessa led them to an alley. Here. Over here. Vanessa said as half her body was in a wall. Everyone followed after her and entered the wall and found a secret new alley. There were several small shops set up and shady-looking individuals all around. It's the black market, Vanessa stated. It's a teensy bit dangerous, but they've got some super effective stuff here. Hey Vanessa, I've got some good stock in. Someone called out to her. Surprise? Vanessa asked Noelle. I know nobles like you would never come into places like this. But you have trouble controlling your magic, right? They sell magic items that can help with your control, Vanessa stated. Noelle only humphed in response. She couldn't lie, though an item to help her would be useful. Izuku looked around as he took in his surroundings. Back in his world it was illegal to deal with the black market, but he supposed the rules here were much different. He had to be careful, though. He had no idea what to expect out of the black market. Huh, Asta said as he turned. Things are really jumping over there. That's a casino. Amateurs should take it easy, Asta then saw Magna throwing all of the money he got. Well, they should take it easy. Thief! A old grandma yelled out as a wrapped-up gift was stolen from her. Izuku's hero senses immediately went off. After interning with Endeavor, he was able to react extremely quickly to situations like this. Green electricity surrounded Izuku as he used one for all at 8%. Izuku jumped after him. The thief was surprisingly quick, but Izuku was faster. He immediately caught up to him. The thief looked behind him and saw Izuku right behind him. Oh no, the thief then grabbed out something from his pocket. It was a small knife, but magic was radiating from it. Magic item, paralysis knife. The knife was thrown. Izuku planned on dodging it, but noticed it was flying towards one of townsmen. Izuku used Black Whip and grabbed the knife and broke it against the ground. He then jumped in front of the thief and tackled him to the ground. You're under arrest, Izuku said as he pinned the thief to the ground. He quickly tied the thief up. Izuku then handed the wrapped gift back to the old grandma. Thank you, Magic Knights. Take care, Grandma, Vanessa said as she waved back to the old lady. Wow, Deku. I knew you were fast, Vanessa, then gave Izuku a hug. I didn't think you were so fast. Nice job capturing him. So close, Izuku thought to himself. The grandma walked down the alleyway. I've never seen that type of magic before. Was that even magic? And I also sense really dark magic in him. The grandma was suddenly replaced by a tall, blonde-haired gentleman with a star-like mark on his forehead. He's a pretty interesting kid, the man said with a slight smile. This is why I love wandering around in disguise. A small bubble appeared in front of the man. I finally found you, someone said from the bubble. The bubble was a way of communicating with long distances. What you were doing, Wizard King? The man just chuckled, wandering around the castle town looking for new magic. That's what the man, now identified as the Wizard King, stated. Do you understand your posit? Every meeting with magic is completely unique. That doesn't. I never know what sort of magic I'll run into, or where. Would you listen to me, you magic geek? And now I think I'll go and search for new magic again. This is no time for nonsense. We have an abnormal situation on our hands, am I right? The Wizard King asked, once again interrupting. Huh? The voice questioned. Don't worry, I found someone interesting. Huh? The Wizard King walked away with the biggest smirk on his face. So, this was the end of part 1 of this series. Stay tuned for next part of this series, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.